Hi YouTube, Pharaoh with you here. I just got back from another meeting with the Mormons, and let's go over what we talked about. First, we went over a little bit of discussion over certain practices and things that have to do with the afterlife and whatnot, marriage sealings and things of that nature. So it turns out that, say you're married and your marriage was sealed, what that basically means is that person and your children from then on after are now guaranteed to be with you in the afterlife. So you're sealed to certain people, and apparently the rules apply differently depending upon your gender. Men can be sealed to many women. For instance, if your spouse, if a man's wife were to die, and he were to get remarried, he can get resealed to that wife. And say this happens just hypothetically multiple times, and you get sealed to 7 different wives. All 7 of those wives are going to be with you in the afterlife. But apparently it doesn't work that way out for the women. Apparently the women can only be sealed to one man, and that's it. So if you're a woman and your husband dies, too bad, you can't remarry. You can't get resealed to another man. So a little bit of gender bias in the afterlife. Then we went on to, we wanted to talk about prophecies and things like that, and they asked me if I read up on any of the prophecies or anything. I said no, which is true. I was going to look into the whole prophecies thing, but one of my people that views my videos, I'm not gonna say they're a subscriber. They might be. I just haven't checked. But they've been watching my videos. The guy is a Mormon. I'm not gonna say his name, but he thinks I'm being extremely unfair and biased in my research, and he has flooded me with all kinds of websites and information and scientific data to sort of, you know, say, hey, you're not looking at everything, you're not doing this scientifically, which I always thought I was, and I do try to look at everything everybody sends me, but I only have a limited amount of time to do stuff, so sometimes I don't get around to some stuff. But he's been flooding me with a whole bunch of scientific data on DNA and what have you that I just have had to look into to secure his feelings that I am not being unfair or dishonest. So I didn't have any time to look into prophecies, because this guy, I'm not going to say he's being mean or defensive or anything. He just is really skeptical about me being honest in my research. So in order to combat his criticism or skepticism of my research style, I went and looked at all the stuff that he brought forth to me. Because I don't do things in biased ways. I always try to be very scientific about it and look at all the data and come up with conclusions. With that being said, if I do make a conclusion based on all of the information I've seen, and that conclusion is not in line with your religion, that doesn't mean I'm being unfair, and that doesn't mean I'm being dishonest. I'm drawing conclusions based on all the information I receive. So just because it doesn't line up with your belief system, don't get mad at me. Sorry. I'm doing this as fair as possible. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. You don't really have to. I don't care. I'm doing this really for me, because I want to know the truth. And maybe for somebody else out there that has wanted this stuff researched and wants an unbiased opinion on it. So then they brought up a prophecy. I have it right here. This is Doctrines and Covenants, section 87. You see it? That's a little better. Section 87, Doctrines and Covenants, and this is a prophecy that Joseph Smith was given on December 25th, 1832. And I'm gonna quote here, verse 3. For behold, the southern states shall be divided against the northern states, and the northern states will call on other nations, even the nation of Great Britain, as it is called, and they shall also call upon other nations in order to defend themselves against other nations, and then war shall be poured out upon all nations. He tried to tell me that Section 87 is a prophecy about the Civil War. And I had a big problem with this, specifically because of this third verse here, where it says, Great Britain shall call upon other nations, and this will bring about war upon all of the nations, which did not happen in the Civil War. It was just a spat between the North and the South, and no countries really got involved. So I said, this is not a confirmed prophecy because war didn't pour out upon all nations. And the bigwig was there, and he stated that it does, because it's a prophecy that it has no constraint to just that war. It is for lack of better words, the prophecy was made for the rest of future. He said that World War I happening is proof that this prophecy came true. And I tried stating that a prophecy is limited to a specific event or specific time period. You can't just say, I prophesied that there will be war in the future, and if it happens anywhere on the planet, that somehow makes your prophecy true. It doesn't work that way. Prophecies are very specific things. And he disagreed on me on every level, so we just didn't agree on that prophecy. Then we started talking about Doctrines and Covenants, Section 89, otherwise known as the health doctrine. That's the doctrine that tells them no tobacco, no alcohol, no drugs, no caffeine, all that stuff. And they tried explaining that this was a prophecy that today we now know all those things are bad for us. And so I combated that with the argument that there have been case studies that show that a moderate amount of alcohol each day is actually really good for your heart. The American Heart Association actually recommended that men drink 2 alcoholic drinks a night and women 1 for better heart health, because it has something to do with a better circulation and increased heart function, and it reduces heart disease factors. And they said, well, yeah, but it's still bad for you, so that's why it's in there. So we went in this debate about when certain things become harmful, and they said that the things that are in that doctrine are specifically there because they can control you. Like, you can get addicted to caffeine, where you need that Coca-Cola every morning, you need that jolt or something like that. And so this is a protective measure to keep you from being controlled by an outside influence. And he went on to reiterate that this can apply to anything. I mean anything. If something controls your life, you should get away from it. He brought up a chocolate for him. He said he had to have chocolate every day, and he would always go to the same newsstand, and he realized that the chocolate was a problem for him, and so he had to stop because he was addicted to chocolate and all that stuff. And you know, that's fine for like substances that we know are really bad. You should never really even try. But I mean, when you apply it to everything, I mean, there are lots of things in our life that you could say we're addicted to because we have to have them. So if you're going to apply this rule to everything, hey, you're addicted to water. You need to have it every day. Sorry, that conflicts with you and God, so stop drinking water. You're addicted to electricity because you need it every day in order to keep going. So that's bad because it gets in between you and God. We're addicted to petroleum products. So stop driving your car because it gets in the way between you and God. There are lots of things that you could say we are addicted to that are good for us and don't get in between you and God. So I don't know, I'm going to have to call that one a tie because they stuck to the stuff that was bad or detrimental. Well, this is going to be it for the Mormons for a little while because the Thanksgiving is coming up. So I'm not going to see them again for 2 weeks. So you have to wait 2 weeks for another Mormon video. But I'm going to be filling in with some other stuff over the holidays so you guys can still watch my channel if you want to. Just going to have to wait a while on the Mormon meetings. Thanks for watching. Happy holidays.
Y'all know the name. Pharaoh fucking March ain't a damn thing changed.